Hi everybody, Paddy here.
All the happy chemicals exploded in them, like they had an explosion of dopamine, serotonin, and the good endorphins. He said, you should never ever waste a good crisis. Most teams hit a peak at 20% of their potential. There's 80% untapped. This is a time to be creative, to be innovative, to think of new ways of working and being, and tap into that 80%.
Hi everybody, Paddy here. I'm joined today by Declan Coyle. Declan Coyle, international speaker and author of 2 books, The Green Platform and Living the Green Platform. So thank you very much, Declan, for taking the time to come and have a chat with me today.
Thank you, Paddy. My privilege.
So how are you keeping? How are you finding?
Oh, it's challenging, but the bottom line, Paddy, is that we were born for this time. Mm-hmm. Because go back to 4 or 5 weeks ago, and you sit down, have a chat with somebody, and they talk about their children, and they say, we give them everything except resilience. And, now we have an opportunity where our children will be telling their grandchildren about the resilience that they had when things weren't as easy as their grandchildren were having. So it's the Chinese word for crisis, the character, is the same character for opportunity. And you remember he was later mayor of Chicago. I think his name was Ram, but he was an advisor to Obama. But he said, you should never, ever waste a good crisis.
Hey, good advice there. For people who are not familiar with your work, Declan, so, I'm very familiar with your work and I've been very lucky to work with you recently. Can you just tell us just a little bit about the Green Platform and the thinking behind the Green Platform?
Yeah, it's a very simple process. It's, I suppose the roots of it would go back to my visiting professor in Ottawa, a man called Dr. Viktor Frankl, and he was an Austrian psychiatrist tortured in Auschwitz during the Second World War. But he said to me, they tortured me, they broke my body, they did operations of my genitals, but he said they couldn't touch my spirit. And he said, life is about the life inside you, not the external circumstances. So he said, every day in Auschwitz I was happy because I made a decision every morning that between stimulus and response, there is a space, a white space. And in that, we have the last and the greatest of the human freedoms, the freedom to choose a response in any given set of circumstances. And he said, when you cannot change the situation you're in, you're challenged to change yourself. So he said, there I discovered the power to choose. And I have developed that into, what can I choose? I can choose a red platform. I got the idea from lights. Something happens in life, an event. It is as it is. It could be a pandemic, whatever. And I cannot unis it. It is as it is. And I'm not in control of it, but I can control my response to it. So where attention goes, energy flows. If I choose the red platform, I'm choosing the victim, the whinge, the whine, the moan, the complain, the poor me. And underneath that red platform is a septic tank of sabotage called fear, panic, and helplessness. And I must track back and remember that this is a choice. And I can easily go back to my white space and choose a green platform with the 10 most powerful words in the English language, no word more than 2 letters. If it is to be, it is up to me. I can choose creativity, I can choose innovation, I can choose freedom, I can choose joy, I can choose actions that bring joy to others. Now, in these times, if I choose the red platform, we have to be counterintuitive here because everything, the external circumstances, almost force us onto the red platform. But I have a question each morning. Am I going to be defined today by the external circumstances and memories of the past, or am I going to be defined today by my vision of the future and my vision, my plan, my blueprint, and create that ahead of time? Because anybody who ever changed history did it because they had a dream, they had a vision, they were future focused. Martin Luther King didn't say to 500,000 people at that monument in Washington, he didn't say off the red platform, looking at the external reality and the memories of the past and the history, he didn't say, I have a complaint. I have thousands of complaints. I have millions of complaints. Let me start with the Ku Klux Klan and the restrooms and all. He didn't go there. But as a leader, he went into the future. He said, I have a dream. And lest we forget, he kept repeating that, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. This is a time for dreams, because it's those who have that vision and that belief in the vision. Because let's look at my choice, red platform, green platform. Nothing has any meaning but the meaning I give it. A fact has no meaning, an event has no meaning, a situation has no meaning. Even a pandemic has no meaning, unless I make up a story about it. And that I control. So what is my story? I go inside. I can go on the red platform and make up a story, an interpretation, a meaning that makes me feel bad, like this is a disaster. And underneath that red platform is a septic tank of sabotage called fear, helplessness, and FEAR, false evidence appearing real. Or I can choose the green platform and I can say, no, this is not a disaster on the red platform. This is an opportunity on the green platform. And I can say, woe is me on the red platform, or I can say, I can handle it on the green platform. And if you look at this pandemic, what's around us now, we have to go totally counterintuitive. When we're in lack, we're generous. When we're sick, we think health. Now, when we look at this, if I go into fear, what can I control? Control the controllables here. Where attention goes, energy flows. It's about where I put my focus. Our true superpower is where we choose to put our attention. So I put my attention on fear and panic. I had a text from an older man. He's quite a famous man in this country the other night, and he just simply said, Declan, I'm scared. And I called him back and I said, look, Brian is his name. Brian, you're being scared as a choice. You have a choice. Instead of being scared, why don't you focus on gratitude? Now, I cannot say to you, you cannot pour pink positive paint over human suffering. You cannot stand on the edge of a cliff looking down at all the jagged rocks about a mile below, shaking at your knees, and then you say, I am fearful, I am fearful. Well, I say to that person, I won't say, oh, think positive thoughts. No, then you're going to stress yourself. I'm happy, but you know you're not. There must be congruence. So you have a choice. The antidote to fear is courage. Why don't you step back a bit, turn around and look at that beautiful garden and see the 100 things you're grateful for, so we can choose gratitude. Now, with the pandemic at the moment, if I choose fear, if I choose panic, I'm going to activate the stress hormone cortisol and lower my immune system. But if I go to the green platform and I choose gratitude, 4 days of gratitude, 10 minutes a day, studies done by neuroscientists with Dr. Joe Dispenza will boost your immune system by 50%. If I choose acts of kindness, when people receive an act of kindness, they put electrodes on them, they measure them, all the happy chemicals exploded in them. Like they had an explosion of dopamine, serotonin, and the good endorphins. The same thing happened somebody doing the act of kindness, and the same thing happened somebody even observing an act of kindness. Then the other thing is that we can just take time to breathe slowly, to meditate. And once we meditate, then we boost our immune systems again. And we have fresh air and exercise. They're all things we can do to boost our immune system. And when we look at what's around us, we see that, again, the power of these questions. On the red platform, we have poison questions, toxic, disempowering poison questions. And it's 100% certain we'll get a poison answer. So toxic, poison, disempowering questions are, why me? What else is going to go wrong? What did we do to deserve this? Why do these things always have to happen to us? Just when we thought we're getting somewhere, along comes this. Rather, go on the green platform and ask power questions. And it's 100% certain you get a power question to a power answer. Because if you go back to your poison question, why me? You'll get an answer. 100% certain you get a poison answer. Why you? Because you're a slob. Because you lacked early life love. Because your mother loved your sister more than you. But I didn't have a sister, but if you had, she would have. So we go to the green platform, we ask power questions in this time now more than ever. How can I turn this around and enjoy the process? How can I be the best version of myself today so that those around me can flourish and shine and be the best that they can be? How can we get into the 20% of our activities that give us 80% of our results? How can I focus on each person in my team building their strengths? When the wild geese fly in V formation, they're 71% more efficient when they fly as individuals. How can we use this time to build our team and get us flying in formation and getting each person working out of their strengths? When we look at managers and leaders, we studied 80,000 of the most successful managers, 120,000 hours of tape. And the most successful managers helped people to be more and more of who they really were. They built their strengths. They didn't have Mozart milking cows in the byre. They had Mozart playing music. They didn't have Michelangelo minding sheep. They gave him a hammer and a chisel and had him sculpting. But when we look around the world and we see how are we, the company, using your talent, 83% of respondents say you're not using my talent. So what we have is middle managers working desperately hard all morning, teaching a hen to swim. The hen is no good at swimming. Then they start the afternoon, they build a hen gym, they get the hen doing swimming, these exercises for the muscles of the hen's legs because they're determined to get this hen to swim. Still, the hen is no good at swimming. Then they do 360-degree feedback. And it's not me. Everybody's saying you're okay at laying the eggs, but you're no good at swimming. The hen goes out depressed. The manager is depressed. Then he gets in a personal trainer. And the personal trainer works, come on, hen, 8, 9, 10, 11, still is no good. Then he gets this man in who wrote a great book called The Green Platform. Get him in, work with the hen. Come on, hen, the you see is the you you'll be. If it is to be, it's up to me. You can do it. Don't be making up a story that makes you feel bad when you can make up a story that makes you feel good. He's useless too, get rid of him. And then one day we discover a duck, and a duck swims. Swimming is a duck's job. Laying eggs is a hen's job. And the green platform does not work when you're teaching a hen to swim. It works when you're building the innate gift, when you're getting Mozart to play his music, Michelangelo to carve his David. And when you look at teams around the world, we've done the studies, and most teams hit a peak at 20% of their potential. There's 80% untapped. This is a time to be creative, to be innovative, to think of new ways of working and being, and tap into that 80%.
Great. So there's the way we show up as leaders then hugely important. I think like a lot of our customers, small to medium-sized business, from a one-man operation to, 100 people. So us showing up so how we show up every day, hugely important to understand the choices that we have every day. Because I'm hearing a lot of, it's time, I'm hearing a lot of managers and leaders saying, it's time for our teams to step up now. It's time for our teams to step up. And I'm thinking, so as leaders, what do we need to do to step up for our teams? Because I think that's leaders, we need to be showing the way and helping people.
Yeah, it's that the first person I lead is myself. So I get, when I'm working with football teams or hurling teams or basketball teams, you wouldn't let them out on the pitch without a warm-up. And when managers talk to me about, I remember Jack O'Connor with the Kerry team one time, and talking to Jack, and said, Jack, you're going to have to work harder on yourself than you work on the team. Because you have to make sure that when you go into training, you're in a positive state, that you're not tired or fatigued or cranky. You get yourself ready to work with the team. So it's showing up at your best. And that's why that power question in the morning, how can I be the very best version of myself today so that those around me can flourish and shine and be the best that they can be? And you know yourself, Paddy, it's no point in talking. St. Francis said one time, he said, we must preach the gospel, he said, but only if absolutely necessary use words. It's how you live your life. Speak so loudly, I cannot hear a word you're saying. And people pick up by osmosis. They pick up the energy. Like this virus is highly contagious. But let me tell you, Paddy, enthusiasm and excitement and energy is just as contagious. And when I go in, like, we can know from that book, Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins, and he did a map of human consciousness, and on a scale of 1 to 1,000, the lowest energy we have is shame. That's at 40. Then there's guilt, and then there's the rage and anger and all the rest of it. We move up to the high energy levels of care, compassion, kindness, love, and all the rest of it. Now, he calibrated, historical epochs and all the rest of it. But Gandhi calibrated at about between 8 and 900, and the British Empire calibrated at 170. And it was from an energy point of view, there was no contest. So if I walk into a room and I have this inner peace, this joy, this vision, if I'm burning with the excitement of a vision, that's because, let's say you go out, it's the basic sales thing over again. I meet a salesperson, you build rapport, and you build the rapport. However, the person with the most certainty and the most conviction will influence the other. So a leader has to have certainty. It's the dream. When Dr. Pierce Lyons, working with him, he'd meet somebody, and the first thing he'd say to him was, "What's your dream?" Next thing he says, "How can I help you achieve it?" Then the person would tell him their dream, and he'd tell them ways to achieve it. And then he'd finish always with the question, "But why is my dream for you bigger than your dream for you?" That dreaming small dreams is the virus. And this is a time, Paddy, we were born for this time. This is a time where, this is the fertile ground for leadership, but where we can become the leaders we were meant to be and say, okay, what's our vision? And if we look at, does my team know? If we look at all my years of working with teams, seeing the biggest problem is clarity of goal and role. So I say, okay, when the wild geese fly in V formation like this, they're 71% more efficient. But let's look at the top. Everyone on a highly functioning team, everyone knows what. So the vision, the goal, the plan, the strategy is crystal clear. So my small picture is part of the bigger picture, and I see the connection. So that's number one. Everyone knows what, and clarity on the what, and the measurements of the what. Number two, everyone knows why, because 80% of the energy to achieve any goal comes out of the why. Viktor Frankl, you say to me, give me a why and I'll go through any how. And I'd say, God, that's a powerful. Where did you? I say that wasn't mine at all. That way I got that from Nietzsche. But the power of the why, the reason, the purpose, purpose fuels passion. Purpose fuels passion. Once you have a powerful purpose, everyone knows why. Everyone knows how. Everyone knows what, everyone knows why, everyone knows how. So they have the capability to do what they're supposed to do. They're not hens swimming. Everyone knows time frames. They actually know when their progress review and the KPIs and the time frames are there. And then everybody is focused on their 20%. Because this is the time to review our 20%. 20% of our activities will give us 80% of results. Pareto. In Italy, 20% of the Italians in the area he lived in owned 80% of the wealth, 20% of drinkers drink 80% of the beer, 20% of drivers cause 80% of the accidents, 20% of our clothes wear 80% of the time, 20% of our house contains 80% of the rubbish. So 20% of our tasks deliver 80% of our results. So are we focused like a laser beam on that 20%? Then we have the strengths that everyone on the team is working out of their strengths, and I will facilitate them to work out of their strengths. And everybody is focused on the big 10x opportunity, because there are opportunities now to achieve this 10x deliverance of value to people where we get a 10x sale. So we look at these ways to get that. We talk around the 10x. And the final thing is that everybody has a green platform partner. And that is a green platform partner who will hold me accountable. We meet for 15 minutes every Friday, and we have a few basic questions. Number one, was I on the green platform? Did I choose to be positive? Because your positive attitude is the greatest gift you can bring to your team. Your positivity is the greatest currency there is in the world today. So number one, was I on the green platform? Because that's what creates the culture. And once we create that positive can-do culture, as Warren Buffett and the other man, Drucker, said years ago, culture will eat strategy and plans for breakfast. So we create that positive, solution-focused can-do, and we've no energy vampires. These red platform people, they're whinging, they're whining, they're moaning, and they're a grievance running around looking for a cause. And anything that you see is negative, they come up with it. They can find 100 ways that won't work. So that's one. We create the culture, green platform, everybody on it, keeping people on it. Number two, was I in my 20%? Did I waste that time? Was I focused on 20% of my activities that deliver 80% of my results? Number three, was I working out of my strengths today? And then I give everybody 3 figs. And the 3 figs are, what are the 3 FIG, fiercely important goals you're going to achieve this week? And the last thing is, for this month, what's your 10x rock? What's the thing that would exponentially explode our sales or get us ready for an explosion of sales? And review those each week. This is a time to embed this into the culture, and it will transform the companies for decades to come.
Excellent. Some great advice there, Declan. And from a culture point of view, so if we've got our teams focusing that way, but even, if you take a business owner, I say a 1 or 2 man business, like having that mindset and going out to a customer with that mindset, they're going to pick up on them, on that green platform way of thinking as well, because I'm sure our customers don't want to be listening to negative talk. So it's kind of a ripple effect. So start with yourself, and with your team, and then bring this out to our customers. And I suppose seeing the opportunity that's out there now.
Yeah, and I would say, Paddy, as well, that when I talk about the 10x rocks, I also want to talk about the powerful pebbles. It's the things you do for your customers now that they will remember. It's the small things. The very, very, it could be the phone call. It could be an email. It could be a text. It could be a little note. It could be something non-business related, but that they will remember. Because go back to Maya Angelou. People will not remember what you said. They'll not remember what you did. They'll always remember how you made them feel. Now, as a leader, I have one job to do today, Paddy, just one job. I do 2 things. I think and I feel. I think and I feel. That's all I do every day. So, am I going to get the when-then virus? Is that I'm going to be stressed, I'm really upset, and really worried and all the rest of it. And then when all this is over, I can relax and be myself and get back. No, it's not when-then. It's, can I feel good now? And what are the things that make me feel good? And I've discovered over the years that the things that ultimately will make you feel bad and lower is the narcissistic, poor me, Me is the soul song of sadness. But you is the soul song of joy. So it's about getting that, how can I make somebody else's life better? And automatically you'll feel good. Because the thing is that everything we do, Paddy, in business, everything we do ultimately to feel good. We buy a car to feel good. We get a good customer to feel. Everything else, helping out a customer helps to feel good. I'm saying don't wait until that. Don't wait until the pandemic is over. Feel good now. That's your single most important job as a leader.
Great, lovely. Declan, listen, that's you've covered quite a bit there in a short period of time. So, just thanks a million for your time. We'll pull this together and get this out to our customers. And what a great message. And I suppose staying on the green platform is hugely important for everybody now. Yeah. So
yeah, and
sorry.
I just say I'm writing a little bit of a reflection on getting through these times on the green. I'm in the middle of it at the moment, but when I've finished, I'll send it to you, and you can send it out to your people.
Great, appreciate that, Declan. Lovely. Thanks a million for your time.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.